Hello, and thank you for joining us. Today we are going to be making one of my favorite recipes. This is a summer salad with cucumber, tomato, onion, and a really light, delicious dressing. Now, this is a good thing to make for a cookout or if you just don't feel like turning on the oven. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how to chop each one of these vegetables because I think getting really comfortable with your knife skills can make a huge difference in how confident you feel when you're cooking. So you can see first I cut this cucumber into reasonably sized pieces, and then I gave myself a flat surface to work with. And cutting the cucumber in this way makes sure you get really evenly sized pieces, which makes the whole salad come together much more nicely. All right, up next, we're going to move on to our pepper. So you can see the way that I run the knife along the outside of the pepper like that automatically separates the core from the edible part. Makes it really easy to work with. Now that we have this nice slab of pepper, we're going to cut it into sticks. So you can see I'm making these sticks really thin, and that's because this is going into a raw salad. So you really don't want any giant chunks of any vegetables, just a really thin slice. Then run the knife down one more time and cut each of those into nice little cubes. And up next is the onion. You can see we already peeled this onion and cut it in half, and now it has been cut into quarters. So you can see what she's going to do is take the tip of the knife and put it almost to the root of the onion and then cut down. If that outer layer is bothering you, if it's making the knife slip around, just get it out of the way. Just cut it off. You can chop that separately later and still add it to the salad. It's perfectly good to eat, but this way is much, much safer. Now after this one last slice, she's just going to run the knife down the front of the onion. And what you end up with is a perfectly even little dice, and it's a lot less work than trying to cut the onion any other way. It's just easier to end up with even sized pieces using this method. So for our olives today, we decided that we didn't really care if they were all exactly the same size. We like olives a lot, so we decided to just give them a very rough chop. Now I'm going to show you a really easy method for peeling a clove of garlic. Just take your clove, put it on the cutting board, put the knife over it, and then hit it with your fist. And that actually just breaks up the skin so that then it's easier to peel it off. I think I could have used a little bit more force with this one because it's still a tiny bit difficult to take off the skin. But even so, it only takes a few seconds and you can see it comes off right in one piece. And then when mincing the garlic, you want to get the pieces as small as possible because garlic has such a strong flavor, so you do have to go over it with a knife a couple times. Now we are going to make our dressing. As you can see here, there's only a couple ingredients. We're actually just using olive oil, vinegar, oregano, dill, and salt. So first, the olive oil, we're using about 1/3 of a cup here, and the reason we're putting it into a mason jar is just because it's easier to stir and pour. Up next for our vinegar, we are using red wine vinegar here, but if you don't have it, you could use another type. Up next are our dry spices. First, we have oregano. Now, I think it's definitely worth it to invest in dry spices because they last so long. They add so much flavor to your recipes. You can use them in so many different ways, like oregano and dill here add a ton of value to the salad. Now with salt, I'm going to do something a little bit different because as we all know, sometimes salt pours more quickly than you mean it to, and too much salt will definitely ruin a recipe, so always pour your salt over a separate container and then add it in. So now it is time to add another one of my favorite ingredients. Unfortunately, feta cheese is not WIC approved, but we used it in this recipe because of its flavor and texture. It just goes really, really well with everything else that's going on in here. Now we're going to take that quick dressing that we made earlier, shake it up one more time just to make sure everything's really well distributed, and then add it right in. You can see this came together so quickly, maybe 3 or 4 minutes to make the dressing, maybe 10 minutes to chop all the vegetables, and you end up with a salad that is sure to impress anybody who tries it. And once that's done, it is time to enjoy. You can have this alongside some whole wheat pita bread or some WIC approved whole grain tortillas. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I really hope that you try this and that you and your family enjoy it. Thanks for watching.